What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. You are not going to believe the absolute shockwave that just hit the NFL. This isn't hype. This isn't gossip. This one has the entire league trembling. We're talking about a move so bold, so unreal. It could completely reshape the direction of two franchises and one of the most recognizable names in football. You saw the title. The Las Vegas Raiders are, according to multiple insiders, preparing a staggering $17 million offer to pull Shedeur Sanders right out of Cleveland. That's right, $17 million. Fans are going crazy. Analysts are in disbelief. And honestly, the Browns front office should be in absolute meltdown mode right now. Things are heating up fast because this isn't some fan theory or social media fantasy. This is legit and it runs deep. Word is, this deal has quietly been building for quite some time. You want to know how serious the Raiders really are? Reports claim their scouts showed up to every single Browns training camp session. Every one. And they weren't there for a backup or a random position check. They put up a front, pretending to evaluate other talent. But the truth was simple. They were locked in on Shedeur Sanders. They studied everything. His composure, his mechanics, his arm, his command in drills, even that unshakable swagger. What they saw didn't just impress them, it sold them. The Raiders are absolutely convinced this kid is their guy. If this deal goes through and signs point that way, this won't just be another offseason signing. It'll be a league-altering power move, the kind that changes everything. Think about Shedeur Sanders for a second. That raw confidence. That's a franchise identity. And what franchise fits that larger-than-life, lights-on energy better than Las Vegas? It's a perfect pairing. This isn't merely a contract. It's a declaration. It's the Raiders standing tall at Allegiant Stadium, shouting to the entire sports world that they're done playing small. They're ready to roll the dice, risk everything for greatness. And that future? It's wearing number 2, and his name is Sanders. But here's where it gets even crazier. If you've been following the headlines, Damian Lillard, aka Dame DOLLA, just stepped into the conversation. And you gotta understand, Dame isn't just another NBA star. He's an Oakland, California native. And if you know Oakland, you know what that means. That man bleeds silver and black. He's a Raiders fan to his core. And Dame, one of the most clutch players alive, jumped on social media practically pleading with the team to make the move. He was urging the front office to bring in Shedeur Sanders. He's watching the same games as all of us. And honestly, after watching Geno Smith, I can't blame him one bit. The man's thrown 9 interceptions this season. 9. Dame sees that. Fans see that. And everyone's staring at this young, electric QB sitting and used in Cleveland, wondering, how does that make sense? Nobody can say for sure how good Shedeur Sanders will become in the pros. But one thing's clear, I believe in him. And I, for one, would love to see him take over Las Vegas, under the bright lights, on the biggest stage, because this man carries that kind of aura. That's the kind of confidence he brings. I honestly feel the same way. But while Vegas is already preparing the red carpet and maybe even a parade, the real question is, what's going on back in Cleveland? How in the world would they ever allow this to happen? Well, that's where things take a darker turn. Let's keep it real. Cleveland has not shown him the respect he's earned. Not even close. Under coach Kevin Stefanski, it's painfully obvious. Shedeur's abilities aren't just being ignored, they're being wasted. It's not oversight anymore, it's suppression. This man is built for something bigger. He's ready for an organization that actually values him. You get me? He needs a city that recognizes his grind. The Browns might be asleep at the wheel, but the Raiders, they're wide awake. They've already got the coffee brewing, and they're ready to make history with Shedeur Sanders. And here's where things get even more fascinating. You have to pay attention for anything too loud. Every caption, every interview line, every post feels like part of a bigger plan. That composed, unbothered attitude, that's no coincidence. That's all strategy. You can tell this kid knows the playbook on and off the field. He's outsmarting everyone. He's watching his own staff dismiss him. And what does he do? He goes on record and says, "We not on no negativity from now on." Man knows he doesn't have to lash out. He knows the entire league has eyes on him. He knows calls are being made behind the scenes. Whether it's this rumored $17 million signing or simply taking control of his career narrative, every move Shedeur makes feels intentional. His calm silence speaks louder than any post-game rant ever could. And honestly, can anyone blame him for wanting to dip? For wanting something better? It's insane. The lack of respect in Cleveland is unlike anything I've seen in years. Even when there was talk about possibly, maybe, promoting Shedeur to QB2, just a backup, the idea was killed instantly. That kind of reaction screams one thing. Zero trust from the coaching staff. No belief. None. And with the rumors floating around the league that Kevin Stefanski himself might be on the chopping block soon, it's no surprise Shedeur could be planning his escape. He's searching for a team, any team, that actually recognizes what he brings to the field. Because Cleveland clearly doesn't. At his last press conference, Coach Stefanski tried to play it cool, sticking to the usual coach cliches. He said he wasn't ready to take risks with younger players like Shedeur Sanders. Risks? He keeps preaching about patience, caution, and development. But come on now, that's pure spin. That's a coach in survival mode. His words and his actions don't line up at all. He keeps hiding behind his weak excuse that Shedeur is too young, in a league where rookies are winning from day one. And here's the part that completely exposes the double standard, the proof that destroys his whole narrative. While he's publicly claiming he can't gamble on a young Shedeur, he's out there giving meaningful snaps to Quinton Judkins. And for those unfamiliar, Judkins didn't even go through full camp. The man just showed up and started getting touches. Yet week after week, he's producing. He's making plays. So let's get this straight. You can trust a rookie running back who barely practiced, but you can't trust a quarterback you've had the entire offseason? The same quarterback with championship bloodline, professional attitude, and zero drama? But you're okay rolling the dice on someone who just walked into the building? So why isn't Shedeur getting the same chance? Why the obvious double standard? Something doesn't sit right here. This isn't about football anymore. This isn't about player development. This feels personal. This reeks of ego. And I'm clearly not the only one catching it. The national press is finally starting to connect the dots. Even analyst Dan Orlovsky couldn't bite his tongue any longer. He went on national TV and flat out called out Kevin Stefanski. Orlovsky said, and I quote, "It's ridiculous." His exact word. Ridiculous that Shedeur Sanders hasn't even been promoted to QB2, especially when there's almost no legitimate competition for that position. But he didn't stop there. He went straight after the Browns front office too, tearing into them for abandoning their supposed plan to test whether Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders could be the future of their quarterback room. Remember that plan? Let them compete, they said. What happened to it? Now Stefanski is out here digging his own hole. When questioned about it, what's his response? These are young players. We're focused on their development. I'll let the week play out, then make a decision. I trust all our guys. I trust their ability and just want to set them up for success. Set them up for success? How exactly is benching Shedeur setting him up for success? How are you developing a player by robbing him of reps? It's all corporate doublespeak. It's nonsense. And Orlovsky didn't hold back. He blasted the Browns' management as inconsistent and downright two-faced in how they've handled this entire fiasco. And let's be honest, he's not wrong. He's dead right. If this back-and-forth hypocrisy continues much longer, Shedeur might have no option but to leave and find a franchise that actually values what he brings. Because clearly Cleveland doesn't see what everyone else, including the Las Vegas Raiders, already does. And that's when the heavy hitters entered the chat. The big voice himself, Stephen A. Smith, weighed in on the chaos. And you already know, when Stephen A. starts talking, it's serious business. You see that glare in his eye? That's when you know something's up. He went on First Take and straight up confirmed it. The Las Vegas Raiders are seriously pursuing Shedeur Sanders. He said a deal is absolutely on the table. A contract so big it could blow away every expectation. That $17 million figure everyone's whispering about? According to Stephen A., it's looking more legitimate by the hour. And he even confirmed the Damian Lillard connection, too, explaining how NBA superstars are publicly pushing for the Raiders to sign Shedeur as their next franchise quarterback. That's how far this thing has spread. When stars from other leagues start calling your name, You've officially made noise. So, why is everyone losing their collective minds over the story? Stephen A. broke it down perfectly. He said, and I quote, "It just makes sense. It just makes sense." Shedeur's got the arm, the leadership, and the poise to flip the entire Raiders organization upside down in the best possible way. This isn't just another transfer. This isn't some small backroom deal. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity that could redefine both Shedeur's legacy and the Raiders' identity. And when Stephen A. was pressed further, when they asked, "When you say it doesn't smell right, in what regard?" he didn't hesitate. He said, "If this deal goes through, it'll go down as one of the most shocking and historic trades in modern NFL under pressure." He called him a natural showman with ice in his veins. Just think about that, a natural showman, ice in his veins. What city, what franchise fits that image perfectly? Las Vegas, the silver and black, a perfect match for the spotlight. Vegas has turned the temperature all the way up, getting ready for celebration, while things in Cleveland are starting to boil over. And I mean really boil over. The pressure on Coach Kevin Stefanski has reached its peak. It's like a pressure cooker that's about to blow its lid. And the fans? They're livid. See him anymore. They're demanding it. Everyone knows that if the Browns keep suppressing him, the fallout, the explosion, will hit their own doorstep. It's not going to ruin Shedeur's career. Oh no, it's Cleveland's credibility that's about to get burned. This entire situation is ticking like a bomb, seconds away from going off. The whole NFL is watching the Shedeur Sanders drama unfold, and honestly, it's impossible to ignore now. It's the headline story of the season. Fans, analysts, even retired players, they're all putting Kevin Stefanski on blast. They're begging him to make a move, any move. The atmosphere is tense, frustration is boiling, and the biggest question echoing across Cleveland is simple. Why is Shedeur still stuck on that bench? Just why? People aren't buying the recycled excuses anymore. That he's too young. Defense? Dead. We're developing him narrative? Dead. Everyone can see what's right in front of them. Shedeur is ready. He's focused. He's composed. He's got what it takes to lead. Yet every single week, he's sidelined like he doesn't even matter, treated like an afterthought, like the last name on the roster sheet. And honestly, it's shaping up to be one of Cleveland's biggest blunders in recent history. And coming from the Browns, that says a lot. The support for Shedeur is snowballing. Louder, stronger, more determined by the day. Fans aren't just cheering for him anymore. They're fighting for him. They feel the disrespect deep. They want to see him shine. They want to see him unleashed. And they've already made their decision. If Cleveland keeps holding him back, the blame won't fall on Shedeur. It'll be squarely on the organization when this whole thing blows up. What's really fueling the outrage, though, is the hypocrisy, that blatant, right-in-your-face double standard. Let's bring it up again because it's too obvious to ignore. Stefanski keeps hiding behind that tired excuse. He's too young for that kind of responsibility. He says, "I don't want to take unnecessary risks." But in the very same breath, he's handing real game reps to Quinton Judkins, a player who didn't even go through a full training camp. And guess what? Judkins is performing. He's handling the pressure just fine. So, explain that to me, make it make sense. If Judkins can thrive under pressure, why can't Shedeur? If a late camp addition can shoulder responsibility, how is your polished, high-talent quarterback suddenly too young? The truth is obvious. He's not. The excuse is pure fiction. If the Browns keep playing the charade, they're not just benching a future superstar. They're jeopardizing their own future. They're lighting a fuse under their fan base. An explosion? It's coming. The backlash will be vicious if they keep this up. And it's already started. Because at this stage, the issue isn't Shedeur's game. He hasn't even been given a chance to show it. The issue is the organization's blindness. It's the coaching still like a countdown to detonation. It's not about if it blows up. It's about when. Every game, every presser, every lineup decision, every sidestep from Stefanski just keeps pouring gasoline on an already raging fire. The locker room, the whispers inside the locker room are getting louder. Things are turning real interesting now. Players talk, Players observe. They know the truth. They know Shedeur has a skill set. And trust me, some of them are quietly wondering, why hasn't this kid gotten his chance yet? You can sense the unease growing among the squad. You can feel the split energy. It's only a matter of time before the tension snaps. Fans are flooding social media, dragging the Browns' coaching staff for letting elite talent rot on the bench. You see posts everywhere saying, if Shedeur leaves, we'll regret it forever. And if Shedeur walks, I'm done with this team. And honestly, can you blame them? How do you let a generational player, a franchise-level quarterback, slip away because of ego and stubbornness? It's unthinkable. And now, with other franchises circling, especially the Raiders and their rumored $17 million budget, and even whispers of the Falcons entering the mix, the Browns might soon have to explain to their fans how they managed to lose a rising superstar, a Sanders, right in front of their eyes. And as for Shedeur himself, he's handling it like a complete professional. Calm, composed, locked in. But don't get it twisted. He's fully aware of everything. His silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. His no negativity mindset is his armor, and that quiet confidence speaks loud. He's already planning his next chapter. He's not waiting for Stefanski's approval. He's waiting for his agent's call to finalize a deal. If Cleveland doesn't wake up and fast, they're going to end up watching him light up Sunday Night Football, dressed in silver and black, while they sit at home wondering what went wrong. Because at this point, this saga isn't just about one player. It's about the Browns' entire identity. It's about their leadership, their judgment, their ability to recognize greatness when it is watching closely. And they're not just observing. They're scheming. Now the story's kicked into overdrive. Insiders are reporting that Shedeur's inner circle, his team, his camp, has already opened quiet communication with organizations genuinely interested in making him the guy. That's right, real talks are happening behind the curtain. While Stefanski stumbles through press conferences, Shedeur's camp is executing a plan. This isn't gossip anymore. It's strategy in motion. And as Damian Lillard, the voice of the Raider Nation, said himself, he's urging them to pull the trigger on Shedeur Sanders. He's seen enough of Geno Smith and those 9 interceptions. He knows what time it is. He said, I don't know exactly how good Shedeur Sanders is going to be, but I know I believe in that brother. I know I'd love to see him in Las Vegas. I know I'd love to see him shining under bright lights on the big stage because he's got that kind of swagger. Dame is manifesting it, speaking it right into existence. And all signs point to the Raiders going all in to make this reality. This could be the blockbuster deal that completely flips the AFC landscape upside down. Meanwhile, back in Cleveland, Coach Stefanski is under fire like never before. You can see it written all over his face. The media is pressing him hard, cornering him on his quarterback decisions, and his answers? Weak, defensive. He sounds like a man trying to hold back a storm with a broken umbrella. He keeps repeating the same hollow lines about trusting the process. Nobody's buying it anymore. Not the media, not the fans, and definitely not the players. The entire city has reached its breaking point. The conversation around Shedeur's future is deafening now. Even former Browns legends are chiming in, saying things like, you don't bench a player with that kind of fire. They're calling out, saying Cleveland's on the verge of making its biggest mistake since passing up on franchise-defining quarterbacks in the draft. It feels like déjà vu. The same old Brown story on repeat. And the weight-crushing Kevin Stefanski couldn't get heavier if it tried. The only question left is, how long? How long before Shedeur decides he's done waiting? Because one thing couldn't be clearer. This man was not born to be a backup. He wasn't built to stand on the sideline, holding a clipboard. He was built to command, built to lead, built to win. And if Cleveland won't let him do that there, you can bet another team will roll out the red carpet, hand him the keys to the kingdom, and write that $17 million check with pride. The rumors are spiraling faster by the minute. Insiders now claim Shedeur's camp has already gone over the Raiders' proposal. Let that sink in. They reviewed the offer, and sources say both sides are way closer than anyone imagined. Word is, Vegas wants him to be the centerpiece of their rebuild. Not a project, not a risk, the centerpiece. They want to give him the star treatment that Cleveland refused to provide. And based on how Shedeur has been carrying himself, calm, focused, and quietly confident, it's obviously spiraling into full-blown panic mode. They're realizing they might be watching a generational talent slip right through their fingers. Social media is on fire. Posts everywhere saying, "If Shedeur leaves, I'm done with this team." And "How do you lose a franchise quarterback over ego?" The outrage is raw, and it's not aimed at Shedeur. It's directed squarely at Stefanski and the Browns front office. Every decision, every awkward interview, every vague statement feels like another desperate attempt to keep control over a situation that's already completely gone. Meanwhile, wearing silver and black has the entire Raider Nation buzzing. Reporters are saying locker room chatter has already started, with some players calling it the move that could save the franchise. It's wild to think that just weeks ago, Shedeur was sitting quietly in Cleveland, labeled too young. Now he's at the center of one of the biggest, most jaw-dropping NFL stories of the year. And if this trade happens, it won't just change Shedeur's career. It'll send shockwaves across the entire league. Cleveland is about to learn a painful lesson about what happens when you ignore undeniable greatness. Because once Shedeur steps onto that field in Las Vegas, there's no going back. The message is flashing bright and loud across the league. Cleveland's time is up. If the Raiders close this deal, it'll mark the death of an era of confusion, hesitation, and wasted potential in Cleveland, and the explosive birth of another. Shedeur Sanders becoming a Raider would send tremors through football itself, proving beyond question that you can't suppress real greatness forever. The Browns thought they could play it safe. They thought they could control him. But now, it's clear they underestimated him. They underestimated the very man who could have been their future. What's wild is how quickly this entire story turned upside down. One moment, Shedeur is buried on the depth chart, treated like an afterthought. The next billion-dollar franchises are battling over him. Every clue, every leak, every insider report signals one thing: a massive power shift. And all signs are pointing to Shedeur's next chapter being written beneath those blinding Vegas lights. Fans everywhere are glued to their screens, refreshing timelines, waiting for that single notification that could shake the NFL to its foundation. The Browns may have just dropped the biggest bag of the decade. And once Shedeur steps into that silver and black uniform, there's no doubt what his mission will be: to prove a point. His drive, his swagger, his laser-sharp focus have all been building toward this moment. The buzz has officially gone nuclear. This isn't speculation anymore. Multiple insiders are now hinting that Shedeur Sanders' move to the Raiders is, quote, virtually done. Negotiations are said to be entering their final stretch. The football world is collectively holding its breath, waiting for that official confirmation to hit. Sources close to both camps report that Las Vegas is ready to make Shedeur the centerpiece of their offense, designing the entire system around his arm, his rhythm, his explosive playmaking. This isn't just another acquisition. It's a crowning moment, a declaration, a message to the league that the Raiders are finished playing conservative, and they've just secured the brightest young star in football.